Okay, so my lawnmower has a no start issue. Hopefully you can hear that clicking through the microphone. Well, in this video we're going to fix this. Let's roll the intro. Alright, so I got on Amazon, I ordered a new solenoid for the lawnmower and a new starter for the lawnmower. The clicking is most likely the solenoid. I'm almost 1000% sure because I've already changed the ignition switch, the PTO switch, and put a new battery on it. I'm putting a new starter on it because I bridged the solenoid by hooking my jumper box to it and bridging the starter a few times to get the mower running this year. Last time I did it, smoke came out of my starter, so my starter shot. So I decided to go ahead and replace the starter while I was just out here working on it. So I'm gonna get my tools. We're gonna get started on this thing. Hopefully y'all guys stick around and watch this. Let's get turning some wrenches. Okay, so I'm gonna start by removing the battery cable. The solenoid is located right there. There's one bolt holding it on the back. Then you have the two bolts for the positive and the negative and two clips. Okay, so the solenoid bolts here are 7/16. The bolts on my battery were 1/2 inch. And I'll find out when I get to my starter. I may end up having to go get some metric stuff for it. I'm not for sure. If I do, I have to go back up and get some pulls. I picked up a cheap standard set at Harbor Freight for like $10 to do this because I have some standard stuff, but not nowhere near as much as I do metric stuff. And with me working on an old Ford truck now too, I need more standard stuff. I'm fixing to do a seal or new battery cables and oil change and stuff on it. Y'all will see in the upcoming video. If y'all want to see my grandfather's old truck that I'm slowly working on when I get the time and money to. So I'll quit rattling on here and I'll get to taking this thing off. If I can get this solenoid out of here, see if we can get this thing to run. And you also need to move these things out of the way that hold the battery in. Mine looks rougher than a night in jail. I might want to shoot a little bit of paint on this while I got it out. I might pull the other one out and shoot a little paint on it too while I'm at it. You know the lawnmower's like 10 years old. But yeah, I'm going to, right there's your positive and your negative. The positives are red and the negatives are black. Just like it's on your battery. So I'm going to pull this off. We'll go from there. Okay, so I removed the 7/16 bolts that are on the solenoid. And I did tell a story a little bit earlier. I thought that was where the bolt hole went, but that's not. That's just a hole. See that little nut right there where my finger is? That is the little nut that holds the solenoid on. And by the looks of it, it looks like it's about 1/4 or 3/8 or something. I want to see what size it is and remove it. Pop the solenoid off there and put the new one on. And we're going to put a new starter on this thing and maybe I'll have a riding lawnmower again. Okay, so this bolt right here is 8mm. So if you're changing this, mine may be the wrong bolt. I'm not going to lie to you, it's possible. My lawnmower's like 10 years old. It's 2015. It's actually almost 11 years old now. But yeah, so it may not be the exact one that came with it. I'm not for sure. I may have stuck just something in there that would screw in there. But anyway, it's 8mm. Yours may be different. If you've done this and your bolt was a different size, comment below. Alright, so I detached my wires. They're connected here. I don't know if I can get you in there where you can see them. See the two wires that clip right there? One's orange, one's green. The way the wires are connected, there's almost no way that you could cross wire it because they only fit one way, so they're almost drunk redneck proof. So I'm going to get the mounting this thing on here and we'll go to changing the starter. Alright, so work that back into the hole, and I've stuck my 8mm bolt back in there. And I'm going to tighten it up. Then I will put the cables on it. And we'll see what we got. Alright, so I had to go in the house to let my phone cool off for a little bit. It got too hot while I was out here filming because it's hotter than late 1990s Shania Twain out here. And I'm going to use this 7/16. I'm going to tighten up this positive and negative. And after this, we'll get started on that starter. Okay, so I had a little bit of truck bed liner I had laying around the house. I used to touch up. I got a little step that's on the trailer here to my truck that I use all the time. It's made out of metal because frankly I'm like 5'6", so I'm kind of short. So I just use that to step up into the truck. So I'm going to spray the top of them, I'm going to let it dry, then I'm going to flip them over and I'm going to spray the bottom. It's better than nothing, and it's not like I'm trying to restore this thing. I'm just trying to make it where the battery won't fall onto the fan of the motor. Alright, so that bolt right there was a 7/16. I got to remove, well, I don't have to technically remove anything else to take that off, or just to get that bolt. And the fuel line here is in kind of blocking my way there. They're bent for the fuel line. So I'm going to remove these two bolts here, set the new starter on there and get them started. Then put that wire back on there, and then we'll put the battery back on this thing and see if it'll start. Okay, so these two bolts here are 10mm. There's only two left holding the starter on. That was a 7/16 there. I'm going to yank these two bolts off here, put the new starter back on this thing, put this thing back together, and we're going to see what happens. Okay, so the new starter's in, tightened up. All I got to do now is put my things back in for my battery, put my battery cables back up, and go from there.